Luke chapter 2, verse 34, and it reads, "And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it, and I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished." Kala Layam, Alahayanawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Kaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach will rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutation to the Akim, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of the whole lives for the four corners of the earth. To the Aquith listening and learning, in sincerity and in truth, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the Pillars of Benjamin camp here in Toronto with another lesson. We'll get right into it. Baruch 2, verse 34. "And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers." Right? Bring who again into the land which was promised? The Israelites. Israel being a people before a place. So-called indigenous, so-called Latino, or so-called Negro. Beginning with the elect on this side. Right? It's by the hand of the Most High Yahweh Shem Shai that the Israelites are going to return. This is a kingdom prophecy. This is a Salakia. This hasn't happened yet. "Which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob." Right? And this is the promise given to the seed of Abraham. Right? To Isaac, to Jacob, and then the 12 tribes. "And they shall be lords of it." Right? Lords of it. Lords of the land. Lords of the kingdom. Beginning with the elect. "And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished." Right? Increase in the kingdom. We'll have offspring. We'll have children. "And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power." Everlasting covenant. This is going into the new covenant. Right? I wanted to get a scripture before I continue with that. Isaiah 60. Verse 21. Verse 20. "Thy sun shall no more go down, neither shall thy moon withdraw itself." Right? That's knowledge, wisdom, understanding. "For the Lord shall be thine everlasting light." Right? Scriptures say the Lord will be there. Right? "And the days of the morning shall be ended." Right? This is the kingdom. "Thy people also shall be all righteous." Right? All righteous. Beginning with the elect, Israelites. Beginning with the elect. Right? Because 2/3 are going to come through the loins of the elect as their children. "They shall inherit the land forever, the branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified." Verse 22, here's a point. "A little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord Yahweh, will hasten it in his time." Right? So the little one shall become 1,000. Right? That's the elect men in the kingdom having children. Right? The children will be the 2/3 that die on this side and return in the kingdom through the loins of the elect men of the Lord, the 144, the governing body. Right? But the destruction got to take place first. Baruch 2, verse 35. "And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their power, and they shall be my people. And I will no more drive my people out of Israel." Salakia. "And I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them." Right? Inhabited forever, man. Right? What does it say in Daniel 2? "There's no other kingdom once Yahushua establishes the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of Israel, on earth as it is in heaven." Daniel 2, verse 44. "And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people," the kingdom of heaven, But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdom, and it shall stand forever. Right? The kingdom of heaven, Yahweh Shai gonna break in pieces all these other nations, and it will stand forever. Right? Daniel 7. Daniel 7. Daniel 7 verse 18. But the saints of the Most High, who were the saints, the elect, the 144, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Right? Once again, once the kingdom of heaven is established on earth as it is in heaven, it will be forever, man. There's not going to be a rise up in none of these other nations coming up. A matter of fact, Salak, Daniel 7. Daniel 7 verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, these other nations, they had their dominion taken away, right? They're in subjection. Yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time, right? And that's after the first 1,000 years in the kingdom, man. Right? They're gonna get to go back into their lands. They're still gonna have but they're gonna be in subjection. You know, they're just gonna get a little relief from the hardcore first 1,000 years, man. Right? Cause that first 1,000 year, Esau's gonna get hardcore slavery. These other nations gonna get hardcore slavery. But after Obadiah 1 and 18 takes place on Esau, these other nations go back into their lands, but they gotta pay tributaries, man. They gotta pay tax. They gotta keep the laws, statutes, commandments, but they'll be in subjection. Right? Salvation is only for the Israelites, beginning with the elect on this side. Right? Hebrews 8, let's close out. The book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 7, and it reads, for if that first covenant being agreement, right, had been faultless, and what was the first covenant? Psalms 50 verse 5, Leviticus 26 verse 46. Right, the covenant made by way of sacrifice with the Israelites, covenant being agreement. Then should no place have been sought for the second, so that first covenant had faults. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Right, house of Israel being the northern kingdom, house of Judah being the southern kingdom. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. Right, not according to the covenant made via the hand of Moses when we came out of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. Right, we broke the law, statute, commandments, went off, and we're in the condition we're in today because of that. Verse 10, for this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. House of Israel, man. It doesn't say house of Israel and other nations. After those days, saith the Lord. Right, in wacky-tacky plantation Christianity teaches that we're under the new covenant. It's madness. Hebrews 8 verse 10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. Right, the law, statute, and commandments will be in the hearts and minds, hearts being minds, right, of the Israelites, beginning with the elect. Right, and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people. Right, Israelites will no longer go off. They'll be perfect, man, in the kingdom. We won't sin no more. The laws will be in us. Verse 11, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor. Right, you're not going to have to teach another Israelite know the Lord, man. It's going to be in us. There's going to be no more highways and hedges blowing the trumpet in the kingdom. The law, statute, commandments, the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahshai will be in us. Hebrews 8 and 11. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, right? I'm not going to be teaching Israelites saying, know the Lord. It says here, neighbor and brother. That's Israelites. For all shall know me, Israelites, from the least to the greatest. For I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more, right? Only Israelites. Salvation is only for the Israelites, man. The Most High going to be merciful to our iniquities. Verse 13, in that he saith, a new covenant he hath made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away, right? And that's in the kingdom, man. The new covenant will be in the kingdom. And the kingdom of heaven will be on earth as it is in heaven. Shalom.